It was one of those days where you wake up heavy, weighed down by some potent force before you're even conscious of who you are. Your mind catches up, still stuck in the default of the evening before it. You remember how you're failing so pathetically to simply be in the world. It all started 7 or 8 years ago when, beyond the typical teen angst, pressure of big decisions and sense of total estrangement from people, a deeper malaise began to develop. A heaviness that came after the cynicism and questioning, after the political and philosophical awakening, although nonetheless at least partially induced by all that. At first there was the incessant chattering, racing thoughts ranging from relatively benign judgments and impressions of my immediate environment to big picture grand narrative musings, lists and expectations, failure, to process the multitude of things happening all at once, failure furthermore to express any of this, partly for my own sanity and partly to justify this activity as productive, creative, creating something which somehow lifted the experience beyond personal trauma into the domain of art that could speak to others, since I could not. This mental activity led to headaches, fatigue, and then came the sick feeling. The weight in my heart, the nausea in my stomach, the inability to articulate anything, to communicate any of this to the outside world. Appearing slow and unresponsive, perhaps even rude, supercilious, behind the glassy stares was an incessant chattering. Sleep offered no respite, as dreams descended into nightmares, exposing the ever more twisted inner workings of my masochistic mind. The intensity of everything, the rage, guilt, confusion, isolation, rejection, overwhelmment, turned inward, to the point where your capacity to feel shuts itself down to protect itself. Back to now, none of it really went away. Making alleviates some of this angst, but usually the outcomes and the indifference of the world to my lofty, privileged, pointless suffering are simply sticks to beat yourself with. If the unconditional love and stability of a soulmate figure offers no lasting respite, what hope is there? What starts as carefree and light as a feather soon enough develops a weight of its own variety, all the more tragic as you thought that was it. You thought you'd been saved. One of those days, they've become so familiar to you it's almost funny. You wish you could start yourself again, design yourself as carefree, easy, light as a feather, on this perfect spring day.